Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTubers. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon. Flat Earth Homeland. Look up Flat Earth Nation. He says it is a flat Earth. Don't let anybody tell you any different. But, you're gonna get a taste of this here. I did a video quoting from The Last Stand, and just that quote, like I said, it just thrilled me when I heard it, when I heard the trailer, and so I was just like, oh, I can't wait to see how that plays out in the movie. And it's just such an awesome statement of I remember the just intent and devotion to a cause and will. And of course, The Last Stand, just that whole ideology or that whole concept, I may have mentioned it before. I don't think I did, but in The Last Starfighter, a guy named Alec, he's a video game buff, and he's in a little dumpy trailer park in the middle of nowhere, Arizona, out in the desert, I think, or New Mexico, whatever. And he wins the high score. So this alien pulls up and spaceship / car, like a DeLorean like looking car. Don't remember his name, but he's the guy that played in The Music Man, and famous guy. I don't know. Anyway, whoever played the alien, the other alien, who ends up being his co-pilot Greg, he's like a lizard looking guy. Reptilian. Oh boy, gee, imagine that. Anyway, so the purpose of the video games was to find a starfighter, someone capable of running the controls and reaction time and intelligence and everything, to actually pilot a starship, a starfighter ship. So the title of the movie kind of gives it away, The Last Starfighter. But the one saying Greg, they're about to take off or the training or something, but Greg, he's down below in the ship, and the pilot's up in the cone and the nozzle, or whatever you want to call it, the tip of it, with all the weapons. And Greg says, I've always wanted to do something to fight a battle of, impossible odds, desperate measures and stuff. And then Alec goes, well, how many starfighters are there? And he goes, including you? And he goes, yeah, one. So he was the last starfighter. The whole thing, the whole war, the whole existence of the human race, the whole existence of the good universe would depend on him, one man. You have been recorded. The video game started out, greetings, starfighter. You have been recruited to fight Zor and the Kodan Armada. So anyway, The Last Stand. So in that, this is the quote, and I did it earlier, but I just love it, I'll do it again. Since the dawn of existence, there have always been moments when the course of history shifted. Such a turning point is upon us now. The conflict between the better and worst angels of our very nature, whose outcome will change our world so greatly, there will be no going back. I do not know if victory is possible. I only know that great sacrifice will be required. And because the fate of many will depend upon a few, we must make the last stand. So, and actually, Magneto was the bad guy, quote unquote. And I saw a thing recently of a video saying why Charles Xavier is actually the bad guy. Somebody that always reinterprets the movies. Although, phenomenal review by, can't remember who it was. Controversy 7. It's like a Nigerian, a black guy, but I'm not sure if that was him. I think it was. And he's a flat earther, Controversy 7, and Robbie, what the heck is his name? Or Robbie Peterson, Anyway, he's the guy that put together the conference in North Carolina, the Flat Earth Conference. But anyway, he did a review of Hunger Games, and you think about it, Katniss has that black outfit with the wings, like a black angel. Snow, President Snow always dresses in white and has a white rose, and he's the one that created the dome, and Katniss is the one that broke the dome. I mean, a lot of really heavy symbology there that, the rebellion are actually, not that you can say they're the bad people in that scenario, but, Snow represents God. I mean, it's like a really bad twist on things because, we do know that there is a creator, and we know that he's made a dome, and we know that we're living in a simulation, like almost a phony world, a bogus world, whatever, and a test world, a play world, a matrix. But he's a bad guy. See, they're depicting the creator, the guy that made the dome, the firmament, as a bad guy. And she breaks the firmament. She breaks the dome. So they fired Thor missiles, like I said, the missiles that carried the warheads that the Russians, well, not about the Russians, but the Americans launched after finding out, going to Antarctica. Suddenly it was verboten to go to Antarctica. This was at a time of World War II, right after World War II. World War. And on top of that, you had the Cold War for how many decades going on, Russia versus America, supposedly. A quote-unquote Cold War. And like I said, Werner von Braun did, he reviewed the whole thing, okay? And told his secretary, Carol Rosen, exactly what was going to play out there. The Russians are going to be bad guys for a few decades, and then we're going to have some little third world countries rise up, and they're going to be rebellion, communist, Vietnam. Then we're going to have terrorists, and then we're going to have the final card, the final Trump, the last Trump, the final card, the big play will be alien invasion. And Clinton's talked about it, Reagan talked about it, Gorbachev. I mean, it's been a repeated theme because that's their deal. Even obviously Obama talked about it. So that's the program. So there you go. There you have it. That's what's going on. So Magneto says no one ever talks about extermination. They just do it. You go on with your lives, ignoring the signs around you. And then one day when the air is still and the night has fallen, they come for you. Only then do you realize that while you're talking about organizing and committees, the extermination has already begun. Make no mistake, my brothers, the humans will draw first blood. They will force their cure upon us. There's only one question you must answer: who will you stand with? And again, you can see a juxtaposition here of Xavier versus Magneto, and that's the whole theme of the thing to a large degree. But then obviously it brings to mind the statement of, they came for the Jew and I wasn't Jewish, so I didn't protest, and they came for the black and I wasn't black, so I didn't protest, and they came for the Muslim, well, I wasn't a Muslim, so I didn't protest. They came for me, and there was like no one left to protest, So get a clue. The high price of free corn. Yep. Read that article by Mr. Common Law. Can't remember his name. Jackie. We did a deal with them and didn't work out good. Oh well. Water under the bridge, like everything else in my life. Anyway, he did Common Law. Nathan would know his name. Nathan Snow. He had stuff at his property. A word from our sponsor. I don't know if I can do this. I need a Reachy gripper thingy. There you go. All right. I'm not getting paid for this. I've been blessed for this. Blueberry Repose. It's honey, blueberry, and vinegar. And real vinegar. This guy prayed, like, I don't want to pollute it like they do with the stuff at the store. And, Father said, just make cider. Leave it alone. And it came out awesome. So the we have this battle coming up, the last battle, and there's so many things I could sit here and just do this 24/7. I'm like, man, if I had somebody to cook, I mean, Jersey's coming, but it's going to be a whole major thing of moving in and figuring out what's going to happen and everything, and so it's between now and that time, I've got a window of opportunity. When that happens, it's probably going to be, I don't know, good signal here. So I don't want to have to, bail out, but I need to get my trailer over here. I need to get a house here or something like that, a mini barn cabin thing. Pray about it, It'll be, I got stuff everywhere, like this whole, whatever you want to call it, altar, a survivalist altar. Whatever. I'm going to talk about it, each of the items, and I'll do a video on that, because it's kind of like, this is the State of the Ozarks night, I'm going to I get Josh Heston's letter. I'm going to read one of the articles on one of the videos here, and then do a State of the Ozarks. So some history, future, what do I see coming, what can I do to help you get here, be safe, grow food, preserve food, have enough food, shelter, water, etc., 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 etc. I've been studying intensely since I went online. The whole world's there at your fingertips, and I know a lot of people out there. I'm not the only one. There's, everybody I meet practically is doing that. Polymathic. They are, leave it sit there for a while. They are, studying, cramming, studying for the final exam, whatever you want to call it. We're preparing for a magnificent time. And I'll say that, I don't, it's going to be thrilling. It's going to be dangerous, Grandpa, is there kissing in this book? Yes, there's kissing. Oh, but there's giants and sword fighting and, poisons and arrows and rodents of unusual size and fire swamps and, oh, okay, Grandpa. Pirates. Yeah, don't forget the pirates. Inconceivable. I've read so much science fiction, loved it, Come to find out, wow, all my science fiction just went up in smoke, There is no outer space. There are no aliens. There are no spaceships, outer spaceships, it's low Earth orbit. And they, just by the way, in case you think I'm blowing smoke up your butt, NASA has stated repeatedly, astronauts in the ISS, the International Bullshit Station. But they say, we can't go beyond low Earth orbit, so they never have and never will. So, yeah, back to the dome. They go to Antarctica, they find the dome, start shooting the biggest warheads they can at the sky, and you can watch the video of it, watching them splatter, and it looks like you fired a shotgun, a incendiary round, explosive incendiary round against a solid surface, because they blow, splatter, and come back down. And so they named the rockets Thor, and then the operation, Operation High Jump. What's Operation High Jump? That's where you jump up onto Antarctica because it's 2 miles high. Hello? Yeah, 200 feet. Everybody talks about the 200-foot ice wall, but it's 2 miles. Look on a map, a topologically accurate, color-coded map of the world. Antarctica is 10,000 feet. It averages 10,000 feet. That's 2 miles. Hello. Denver's Mile High City. Been there, lived there, done that. I had an altimeter watch when I was at the Bay of Pigs, what do you call it? I think Gulf of Mexico. And I set it 0 sea level. Got to Denver, got off the plane, 5,280. That's pretty cool. But 10,000 feet average altitude is high. So the dome, you know, operation. Oh, and then Operation High Jump, Operation whatever it was, I don't know. Which, by the way, hard on the heels of World War II, Russia and America put together this really, really, really fast joint effort. Zoomed down. They actually so fast that they didn't even get there at the same places, partly because they're trying to work on that's probably when they found out. You know, in other words, they took bearings and they go steaming off and didn't arrive at the same place. Well, hello. So anyway, joint effort, and they, you know, Admiral Byrd came back, you know, they were going to be there like 6-8 months. They came back like 6 weeks later, had lost bunches of planes, lost a lot of equipment. I don't know about ships, but a bunches of men. They came back with a tail between their legs, and nobody ever talked about it. So, and think about this. I want you to do something. You could simulate this. I heard this simulated in a earth bag home. Listen to me. Listen to me. If you're a guy, especially listen to me, because men cannot think. They can only do one thing at a time. They cannot think and talk and listen. Okay? They can only do one of those at a time. Women can talk, listen, and think at the same time. Don't ask me. If they can do that at the same time, well, maybe that's why. Maybe they're designed to do that so that they don't do any of them that way. I don't know. Ooh, no. But you know, a lot of women just talk. My daughter Susie, when she was little, she just talked and talked. And one day, my wife said, "I can't wait till you learn how to read." Oh, that's okay. I like to talk. You know, I don't need to learn how to read. I can talk. I mean, because they're in the house all the time together, you know, and it's like, I can't wait till you learn how to read, so you'll shut up, you know. And then one day, my granddaughter Abigail was over, and she had a stool about yay high, you know, and standing on it, and she's washing dishes all by herself. And she so reminded me of Susie, because it was like, this isn't so bad. You just take a dish here, and you get it in the water, and you scrub it off, and you put it over here, and you do it again, and you do it again, and then when there's enough dishes over here, then you rinse them off and you put them in the drain rack. This isn't that bad, you know. Cuter than heck. Now she's in school. Oh my gosh. So, dome. So, I heard this. Guy had built a earth bag, a round 20-foot diameter earth bag home. And he found out that I had gotten a set of hubs for a geodesic dome. And he wanted to buy them, and I was like, it was a 5/8 dome. Well, I was like, man, you don't want a 5/8 dome. I said, that'll be just a massive amount of extra work and labor and height, and you could end up putting it would be a second floor, you know. You figure 15 foot, if you built it out of 20 foot, it'd be about 10-foot height, you know. So anyway, I said, you need a 3/8. And I prayed that the guy on eBay that I got them from was still there and would still have them, and I'd never seen him again since this time. He had them, so Phil got a 3/8 dome, and I got a 3/8 dome. So I got a 5/8 and a 3/8. And they're neat because they're designed so you just make your 2x4 cut square. Just boom, boom, chop, chop. You just need to measure it right. Boom. 3 foot 2 inches. Bam, bam, bam. 4 foot 1 inches. Bam, bam, bam. 2, maybe 3 different lengths of struts. So he built it. The guy is just a genius. I mean, he's designed and invented stuff, you know, windmills and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, he built it, and the walls are round, and the roof is perfectly spherical. And I was there visiting one time, and his daughter, who he tuned her piano to 432 hertz, sacred, system. And she played at a music festival one time, and everybody just, you could hear a pin drop. Everybody was just, she started playing and everybody was just stunned and dead silent and just listened with rapt attention. And she composed her own stuff, So anyway, she starts playing and I was just like awed. Not just because of not so much because I'm not that musical to hear or perceive that. I mean, I like good music, but the sound. I walked over by the wall, and there's an old beat-up desk, and I put my ear down to it, and it sounded like a $2,000 Bose speaker. And there was an old sewing machine. I walked over to it, and it's like, wow. All the way around, because the acoustics were perfect, and the 3-foot thick earth walls, well, rice bags, 18 inches, whatever, 2-foot thick, with all the cob on the outside. Perfect acoustics. Oh, wow. It was phenomenal. And the roof was neat because he was into astronomy. He built himself a 17-inch, I think it was about 10 feet long, telescope. So he could look at the sky. And so he had a little program that would project the sky, on the ceiling, and they could just sit there and look at it, and do studies and stuff. Anyway, my point is this. A dome has perfect acoustics. And one time, and I'm going to tell you, try this if you can do it. If you can get to a Capitol, and this was in Jeff City, they have what they call the Whisper Dome, where you can go up there and there's a walkway, and you can have someone stand here, and my daughter did this. I stood on this side of it, and 200-300 feet away, and we could sit there. We could sit there like this and understand perfectly what you could say. You would say, Whisper Dome. Perfect communication at the outskirts of that dome. So, my question is, if I can get if you'll notice, I have 3 shofars, but if I move anything, it's gonna, the 2 big ones are wrapped around. Yeah, I just not even attempt it. Although, I'll go for the, I call it a shofar. It's a conch shell, which is a legal method of signaling on the high seas. Phil I never did see it. Mine's like this big. He had one that was like this big. Oh. It made some serious noise, he said. So I got, this kind of display of communications, weapon, health stuff. My knife. Female urinary device. Oops. I dropped this and it stuck in the floor. Cell phone case. Holds 8 fishing darts. You only use one at a time, so it's not that big of a deal, but they're reusable. Once you shoot a fish, you just unscrew it. There, right there. And these are kind of cool because they, if you're right-handed, you get one that's right-handed. And if you're left-handed, you You know, it would be the opposite. So you can get a right and left. And speaking of that, the kudu horn there, I made that. And I don't know if you can see it, I'll show it later. It's where I need a pointer. Behind the tomahawk. And you see the green, that's the kudu horn. And what is, you know, when somebody says kudos, 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 what does that mean? Good job. What does that mean? I'm praising you. Kudos means praise. And guess what? The word came from the kudu horn. Praise Yahweh. Yeah. And it's a water filtration. That's where Victor Schauberger got his idea from the kudu horn of structured water. You can take a horn and pour water through it and it'll structure it instantly. So, and the device that he built, a hyperbolic funnel, will turn anything but water into like a miraculous substance. Totally different structured water. Gerald Pollack, The Fourth Phase of Water. Get that book, read it, or at least get the concept into your head. There are not 3 stages of water: ice, liquid, and steam, vapor. There's 4. And the 4 stages as water approaches ice, the solid state, and then the solid state, and as it approaches steam. So both of them are, you know, capable of doing it. So this is a conch shell, a kudu horn. Now, I'm going to do another video on, but look, in the meantime, watch my video and look up Strange Sky Sounds. That's the title of the guy's video. And, that thing doesn't have much timing on it. You gotta reset it or something. He has Strange Sky Sounds. The guy recorded all the, I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. He recorded all the weird sounds going on. And he fed them through his Able Live mixer system for music. And it came out as music. And like I said, I played it at a meeting one time, and this guy was so mad at me that, you know, he said, I won't give you the right hand of fellowship. He said, I'll give you the left hand of fellowship. And he held this big, his fist was like 3 times bigger than mine. You know, like that big, huge mountain man of a guy. Bull of a man. He wanted to just deck me, you know. We're sick and tired of hearing your OzArk Plateau crap. Well, James, may Yahweh give you what you asked for. And you don't need to be in the OzArk Plateau. So, a lot of men, what I wanted to say to him, and I had a chance to say to his wife at my son's wedding, but I wanted to say, you know, when the shit hits the fan, no, your wife has the grace and humility and wisdom to be a queen, to rule. You, however, sir, when the shit hits the fan, need to just either grow a pair or grow a brain, or just, you know, she's going to have to take care of your family because you don't have enough wisdom or grace or humility or intelligence to do so. So anyway, so this is a conch shell, and I love it because it's really easy to blow. The kudu horn I made, Phil helped me do it, and you know, it's kind of hard. And then the ram's horn, which came from Israel, but it's from a ram's horn grown in South Africa, whatever. But supposedly it came from Israel, and my mother-in-law gave that to us. So another story involved with that. But I had matching kudu horns, and I'm here to tell you they were cool because you can put a right and a left up to your mouth and easily blow both of them at the same time. And for miles away, people hear a train, that sound of, you know, it sounds like a train, it really does. So it's awesome. So I'm going to blow this. I haven't done it for a long time, but this is pretty easy because it's done really well. It's got what you do is you take a conch shell and you very, very carefully cut that off at about ½ inch, a little bit, that's a little bit more than ½ inch. And then sometimes you have to clean this stuff out inside to where, you know, it'll actually clean it out to where it'll, it's easy to blow, where the air can get through. Otherwise, it's impeded sometimes. And I don't know if it's all the time or what, but you got to have that initial where it gets around there. Sacred geometry, 1.618. Phi. Okay. I've said that before. Great Pyramid, 1.618. Conch shell. The pyramid in the salt that I showed you the other day. Jerusalem artichoke that grew in a perfect pyramid, Giza pyramid. So, pyramids are evil. They're demonic. God's numbers, sacred. And we call it sacred geometry for nothing. It's because it's throughout creation. All of creation has it in it. Okay, I think one's enough. And I didn't have the thingy bobber on, but I think at least you heard the conch shell. It'll probably be okay. It'd be okay. It'd be okay. Oh. Just blathering, and if you don't like it, oh well, I'm sorry. Try to get some information in. Bam. Since the dawn of existence. Okay. Oh, in case you're having a bad day. It just pulled it up on a Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. Gandalf. Oh. Which one is Gandalf? I don't know. So, alrighty. Well, hey, I'm gonna cut this one off right now. I just kind of been talking. I don't really mean to get off on the flat Earth thing, but it's phenomenal. It's awesome. It's stupendous. Like I said, well, the dome thing. See, they go to Antarctica, and let's say they found the dome, knew there was a dome, and hear things. So my point about blowing the shofar was, and when I blow a shofar, I'll blow it to the east, to the south, to the west, to the north, and then I'll blow it straight up. Because the point I was going to make is with the sorry, punchy, tired, exhausted, like usual, and really tired. The dome. Okay, so you blow the shofar, and the strange sky sounds. And this friend telling me that you come right up to me, Mr. Price, military, musician, music theory. Like, he was a real musician and played music, drums, back, hard rock, heavy metal stuff. But he played drums in the military. And he said it was a 12/8 time. Yeah, 128 beats per minute, 12/8 time. It was in a major key, which is a call to battle, call to arms. So, and the sevens, God's number 7, the devil's number 6. So, who's calling, who's making the sounds, who's making the noise, who's making the booms, and the shofar blast. I mean, these deep. If you ever read Lord of the Rings, but in the movie, it would have been in the Two Towers, Helm's Deep, and Gimli goes up and blows this big horn, the shofar, which is like 10 feet long. The opening is huge, and they say Helm's Deep has never fallen, and just so much symbology there. Dawn is ever the hope of men. The darkest hour is just before the dawn, you know. So, you know, that's blowing the shofar. Is it possible I blow that shofar and the sound, because of the sacred geometry, expands, and when it hits the dome, gets bigger. You know, even more awesome. So, you know, that's kind of one of my theories. That, and you see it in photographs all the time. The dome. You see, if you ever know what sundogs are, look it up. Sundogs. Look at some pictures. Sun halos, sundogs. And then take a glass mixing bowl, and put a lighter or a LED flashlight in it. You'll see the exact same effect. There is no explanation for the fact of there being the sun here, and an image of it here, and an image of it here, and an image of it over here, and an image of it over here, other than a glass dome behind it. So, alrighty, pretty awesome. I was thinking something over here. I was going to say, this is proof that the earth is flat. What the heck was it? It was just crazy. The connection. I'll think of it. Huh. Maybe it was a shofar, but I don't think it was. Something else. It was something very inconspicuous. And I go, oh, this is proof for flat earth. Anyway, I don't mean to, ragging on that, but I mean, not soapboxing, but I'm just, dealing with where I'm at and talking and State of the Ozarks Plateau. So that's State of the Ozarks. Here's where it's going to come into play. Number one, what did I say? Everybody should know. 2 things are going to be critical. Tell me what they are. Water, electricity. So, oh, that was it. Yeah. Where is it? I don't know. What'd you do with it? I don't know. There it is. Okay. So the idea, okay, of there being cold water. The Earth, supposedly, then I'll preface by saying, how deep can you go? What is the deepest hole ever drilled? What's the deepest mine ever drilled? Anybody? 8 miles, 12 kilometers. I believe that's right. The Russians drilled and drilled and drilled and drilled and drilled. Burned up bits, broke bits, drilled and drilled and drilled, and could not go any deeper. Why they didn't just go start another hole and start over? No, I don't know. But we're told that there's the crust and then there's magma. And the magma, yeah, we know there's magma down there. The mantle, the crust and then the mantle. And the mantle is supposedly like magma. Well, yeah, Yellowstone. And I've said before, yeah, I repeat myself because some of these things are really important, and somebody may be listening to this, and it might be the only visitor they ever hear. South and west of Yellowstone is the magma chamber that feeds into Yellowstone. Most of it south and west. They say, somehow, they managed to discover that what they thought was the massive, huge, gigantic magma chambers under Yellowstone aren't. They're just like the tip of the iceberg. Read it, look at it. I don't know how they, radio bouncing waves and whatnot, but they say that the magma under Yellowstone will fill 11 Grand Canyons. Now, I've never been to the Grand Canyon, but I know it's big and I know it's deep. Okay? 11 Grand Canyons. Look at it on a map. Look at it on a topological map. Try to get a raised relief topo map. Run your finger down in there. 11 of those times 11. Okay. So that's a lot of magma. And it goes south and west of Yellowstone. Now, look at maps of future maps of the United States. Disaster Caster. I always think of it as Disaster Girls, and she does go by Disaster Girl, but the website is Disaster Caster, Future Maps of the United States, Disaster Girls, Future Maps of the United States. And on Edgar Casey's and Gordon Michael Scallion's, Chet Snow, Ashton Peter, Lori Toy, Running Deer, and the quote-unquote U.S. Navy map, along with a satellite, supposedly, a quote-unquote satellite map, which is a photograph, black and white photograph, with the United States depicted in a worst-case scenario of rising ocean levels of 80 meters, I believe it is. But on all those maps, eerily, most of the western United States, or a big, huge chunk of it, south and west of Yellowstone, by the way, is gone. Like California's not there. Most of Oregon's not there. The seacoast comes right up to Denver, type of thing. So, not talking doom or gloom, but I mean, it's originally, you know, I thought, well, I went through a whole period of like, that's just insane, that's crazy, that can't happen. I'm from Denver, 2 miles high, you know, mountains are 2 miles high, and there's a whole bunch of them. There's 49 2-mile-high peaks, and there's nowhere for them to go. That's a lot of land mass. Yeah, it's a drop in the bucket compared to the trench off the west coast, you know. So, wake up. And then I came to the thing of, you know, well, I don't want to talk about it, because I don't want to feed into that. I don't want to give credence to it, you know, reinforce it, speak it into existence. Well, it's out there. But then I started studying the craton and everything, and by the time I was all said and done, I was like, every one of those maps could be done by geologists based on the inevitability of the that the scientific studies would dictate that's going to happen. So, goodbye West Coast. Get on out of there. And you have the Juan de Fuca plate, you know, subjuncting the North American tectonic plate. It's just not a good picture. Tsunamis, January 10th, 1610. A tsunami hit Japan. Boom. 600-foot waves going over there. I mean, well, you know, 600 miles an hour and a huge wave. I don't know how big that was, but they made it all the way across the Pacific Ocean and did damage in Japan. So, yeah, this is what I was thinking about. This is really cool. Product review. I don't know if they're still making them. I hope they are. Bam. Easy. The Works. That's what we called our stove back then. This is a G-Mag AA battery recharger with batteries. Double power with double power batteries. And I ain't never used it. Okay. Oh, it's so cool and so techy, I don't even recognize it. I knew what it was, but I was like, wait a minute, there's supposed to be a... Oh, there is. What's that? Mainline it. It's salt. Okay. What in the world is salt doing in with batteries? It's so you can recharge your double A's, your triple A's, your double A's, your C's, and your D's. I actually use double A's go inside there, so you have double, triple, and D's. I don't think it has triples, doubles, C's. So what it is a little salt chamber, and and you put a pack of salt in there, and it creates electricity, and it charges your batteries. Proof that the Earth is flat. Why do I say that? Because the Earth is a battery. God created the Earth with completely free energy. Now remember that, okay? That, let me get that back out. The reason I say that that's proof, it's proof that it's proof that salt makes electricity. This is about the exact same dimensions. You see that dot there? That's the entire landmass. You know, say just a little bit around that. Or maybe this would be a little bit more, yeah, a little more accurate. The hole there in the middle is the entire globe, whatever, what we perceive of the globe, the landmass of the world. The tips of South America, South Africa, you know, are Australia are there around the outer edge of that. North Pole's at the middle. Then you have the oceans, and then you have Antarctica being the outer edge. It's a battery. That's why they don't want people to know. You can't charge for oil and charge for coal and charge for and kill people. You know, how many wars have been fought over oil? How many people have been murdered because of oil? How many coal miners have died because of needing, got to have coal to run the power plants, the coal-fired power plants? How many people have died because of nuclear energy? You know, what about Fukushima? Didn't have to happen. Could have totally free, clean energy throughout the entire world. Tesla knew it. Tesla, you know, was going to make it happen. And of course, everybody knows the story. You know, pulled all support, and he died a pauper in New York. The government stole all his stuff and is using it to kill us. The HARP crap. So the all right, let's get it in there. And this is a little cell phone charger unit. Put a couple batteries in it. Yeah, they really thought this out. I mean, I have this thanks to Marjorie Wildcraft. Thank you, Marjorie. I traded some of your gift to the OzArk Plateau for this. Now, here's the trick: the thing is, where is the landmass? Where is the North Pole in the center? And that is the negative terminal. Okay. Why do I say that? Because the Earth is negative. Free healing. 100% infinite source of free healing. Also a 100% source of free energy. Okay? And in the Midwest, i.e., well, the Craton has more free energy than anywhere else in the world, in my estimation. Okay? So, I better stop messing with this. It's probably making all kinds of irritating noise on the little camera thingy, Bubba. So, you know, yeah, we have free energy more than anywhere else, and I, you know, in my estimation, 10 times more. Ten times more than Canada. The United States and Canada. The United States has 1,000 tornadoes every year. Canada has 100. So we have 10 times more free energy than Canada. This is just my estimation based on, you know, the fact that tornadoes are electrical. Tornadoes are sheath, vortex, plasma discharge, just like a plasma cutter. They take technology and they make a thing out of it you can cut metal with and make weapons with, but they don't want to tell you how they came up with it, you know, or what it means in reality. So, you know, a sheath, vortex, plasma discharge, and it's just a balancing out of the energy that's free, that's there, 24/7 to tap into. That's what Tesla was going to do. We have that capability. We will be. Now, even if you do it on a redneck scale, bushman scale, a hillbilly scale, still going to help. In other words, bleed off the energy and create negative ions with it. Negative ions are life-giving. Negative energy, negative electricity, grounding, earthing, healing. Yeah, I was at wit's end Friday, Saturday. I'd been out. I'd had less than half the sleep I normally would get, or maybe not even that. My daughter, I told the story, my daughter called me and I was really, really, really excited, you know, and I didn't sleep. I got 1 hour sleep. Slept from about 7 to 8. And so had a meeting with her and then went and did some stuff. And I have to sleep. I mean, I knew I was so wired, it wasn't going to happen. And then I prayed, you know, it was like, Father, you give your beloved sleep and earthing, you know, get grounded. And I'm like, oh yeah, the wire was there. I didn't have to get off the couch, John's, and I got this big cushion pillow and I pulled the wire toward me and just touched it. And I just started melting, you know, just like every fiber, every nerve, every muscle in my body just relaxed. And I would have fallen asleep right there. So anyway, I already told that story. Pretty cool. So grounding is negative. The earth is negative. So the outer edge is the terminal. And it's just like a battery. Hello, it is. Seriously, look at it. It makes all kinds of sense. And it corroborates exactly what the creation account says, that in the days of Peleg, he spread the earth out, like fanned it out. I'm not saying the Hebrew has that connotation, but you know, he in Genesis, in the creation, it says he you know, gathered the seas, the land together, and it became dry land. So enough of the you know, land was gathered to you know, be separated from the seas. And you see that in a flat earth connotation, a flat earth situation, whatever the map looks like, I don't care, you know. But here's the land and there's the seas. On a globe, it's all mixed up. So the fact that that is a battery, and the fact that salt is a, you know, the whole oceans is an electrolytic solution, a salt solution, generating electricity, so, or at least storing electricity. The movement of the sun and the moon and everything is like, you know, the armature, you know, motor and whatnot. So anyway, that's about it. Yeah, pretty awesome. So that and water, you know, where does that ice cold water come from? It's just, you know, I'm going to do a reading. I'll bring the poem up because I want to sing it too. You know, what I consider the Galen actually talked about. Galen Chadwick, who founded the Well-Fed Neighbor Alliance, said, you know, he had a couple verses, and he called it 3 verses, I believe. Called it the you know, an anthem for the OzArk Plateau, and it fit verses in a tune that I had already, you know, that I felt the Father give me. Real simple, but it blows me away that with the grand solar minimum coming on and an ice age coming at us and this massive storm going on in New England, which Thor News says is going to sit for 40 hours and dump. 40 hours. He said usually a hurricane makes landfall 8 hours and it, you know, it's pretty much over, blown out. This thing is going to sit for 40 hours. Going over the sea, picking up moisture, dumping it. Going out over the sea, picking up moisture, just circulating. Look at the path of it. So it blows me away that the first line of the first verse of that was, let me see, there will be a place that is safe and warm, healing water, shelter from the storm. Wow. Shelter from the storm. Pretty cool. Healing water, shelter from the storm. There will be a place you can call your own. You know, so housing, you know, Messiah said, I go to prepare a place for you. If it were not so, I'd tell you, you know. He's going to prepare for his people. And this region has been sitting here basically totally empty since creation, or since the days of Peleg. Because my personal, this is just a conjecture, and it's pretty sound conjecture, is that in the days of Peleg, it says the earth was divided, separated out, and if you could imagine a big chunk, you look at Africa, like I said before, look at the coast of Africa, look at the coast of South America, and they would exactly fit, and they're spread out, fanned out, and right down the feet, matching the east coast of Africa and the west coast of South America is a line of, you know, mountains down in the bottom of the ocean. Gee, do you think that at some point in time they were actually together and they got fanned out, spread out? I think so. But at that point in time, the tectonic plates that slammed into the craton, say, this is what tells you that the craton ain't going anywhere. It's over twice as thick as the rest of the crust. The crust is about 60 miles thick. West of the Rockies, I don't give it much of nothing. Why do you think they're so easy to grow fruit there? I'm from Colorado. Montrose, Grand Junction, Delta, fruit capital, Idaho, you know, Montana, 20,000 pounds of blueberries on one farm in a year, every year. Hello? Wake up. It's called a gigantic germination table, a germination bed. You put heating pans to start your seedlings on because they need to be warm. Well, I've been up there in the wild, driving down the highway, berry plants, raspberry, blueberry, strawberry, you know, blackberry. The stalks at the base were like 2 and 3 inches in diameter, and the stems ran 30, 40 feet through the air. There's nobody there to eat them. You're just driving down the highway, and there's every berry imaginable growing up there. Why? Because it's really warm ground. Yep. The coast is toast, especially the west one. The east coast will probably be underwater. The west coast will be underwater, but for another reason. That's not funny. Anyway, I'm sorry. I apologize. But like I said, get out of the path of the tornado, get out of the path of the beast coming down the path, get out of the shadow of the tower that's about to fall. You know, you see the storm coming, don't be there. You see a tornado coming, don't just stand there and gawk at it. Here, let me tell you something. Watch Active Self-Protection with John Correa. Phenomenal. Every one of them. They're only 3-4 minutes. They show you a clip of something happening and whether it went bad for the attacker or it went bad for the defender, the good guy. You know, it's always a one. The one I watched today was guy's just standing there by his truck with the door open, and 2 guys come around the corner. Guy pulls the gun out, and the guy that's standing at the truck pulls his gun out. You don't ever do that. You don't pull on the draw. Guy's got the drop on you. You don't pull from the drop. Anyway, he got shot 2-3 times. But the other one was a guy with cerebral. This is a true story. A guy with cerebral palsy pulls into a convenience store at like 2:30 in the morning, and he's kind of, you know, walking, and this guy comes out of the store and he's making fun of him. And the guy goes in and comes out, you know, gets whatever he wants and comes out. And this guy makes fun of him again, and the guy just stands there. Instead of getting in his truck and saying, "Hey, okay, I'm sorry, I'm retarded, I got brain damage," you know, and gets in his truck, he just stands there listening to the guy. And the guy hauls back and just, you know, and the cerebral palsy guy was a hefty guy. And the guy hauls back just from way back here, and he said he's telegraphing. The way he's standing, his hand, and then he said the guy should have known, but okay, I'm not going to fault him, but anybody else should have known. And he hits him as hard as he can. It doesn't hurt him. It doesn't knock him down. And the guy actually gets waits a few minutes and gets in his truck and drives off. Now, Correa said something at first I thought was funny, but you think about it. He says there's the rule of stupids. Okay? Get this. Again, listen to me. Listen to me. This is going to be important. As you're en route, or you're on the, wherever you're at, every day, when you're out there, there's transition time. When you're pulling up somewhere and you're getting out of your vehicle, or getting in your vehicle, or going in a store, or coming out of a store, or whatever it is, transition time, you've got to be aware. You've got to be alert. Your eyes got to be moving. You got to be scanning, watch behind you, make sure there's nobody, behind you. If you're going to sit in a restaurant, sit with your back to the wall. Don't sit with your back to a window. Don't just sit with your back to the door. Awareness, situation awareness. You got to be aware of what's going on. So he says, there's the rule of stupids. And I'm like, what's he talking about? Because this is the first time I'd heard him say this. I listened to a lot of his because they're just so fascinating. And the point being is, if you're armed, if you're thinking about defending yourself, in almost every case, you have like a half a second of reaction time, and that's it. You're either dead, or you're shot, or you're out of the fight. You're on the ground. So this thing of having a whatever it may be, some silly ass goofy weapon, is it ain't gonna cut it. So anyway, he said the rule of stupids. He says you don't go where stupid people are at stupid times of the day and do stupid things. And it was really interesting. And he said this guy broke all 4 rules of stupid. He said, I'm sorry, but it was stupid. You don't go stupid time, 2:30 in the morning, bars just flat out, stupid time, just stay home. Whatever it was you needed, you didn't need. If it gets you killed or knifed or stabbed or dead, you didn't need it. You really didn't need it at 2:30 in the morning. Stupid time. There's going to be stupid people out, drunks. That's why I like driving in the middle of the night. I love it. Because as I say, there's 99% fewer stupids out there, or idiots out there, morons, So, and don't go to a stupid place. Convenience store, near a bar. So, don't go stupid places where stupid people are at stupid times. And I think there's another one, Anyway, that's this kind of was interesting, So watch that, because your time of reaction. He's got all kinds of lessons. The website always has 8 lessons on whatever the thing was. They have 8 lessons for it. So that's basically it. But the I'm gonna wrap it up there. So alrighty, see if I can get that off there. Now it's hard. I've got it way over. I got it on this side instead of that side. So I wanted to just wrap it up. So yeah, watch some active self-protections. I watched a couple, every 2 or 3 days. I'll watch a few of them, but they're very, very, good lessons. And along with, the rule of stupids, rule of survivals are, be the gray person, be the gray man, be the gray woman, be nondescript, don't dress flashy, don't look flashy. For years, for decades, go to thrift stores, get wool, because it's a survival medium, but don't get, get dull colors, doubles as camouflage, If someone doesn't see you, they don't mess with you. If they don't consciously see you, they don't mess with you. If you don't stand out, if you don't have blazing red hair, or in Sweden, blazing blonde hair, where the indigenous, the scum, the refugees are looking to rape women and kill them and whatever. But don't stand out. Don't be that one that they would naturally gravitate toward for whatever reason. So be aware all the time. Transition times, be very aware when you're getting in and out of vehicle. Be as well armed as you can. defensively, whatever that means. And I'm going to talk about different alternative, weapons. So, one of them being camouflage, light is a weapon. Sound is a weapon. So, all right. All right, that's it. This is Jerry Diamond. If you're listening to this, you are the remnant.